This is an alligator snapping turtle. These awesome ancient creatures with their spiny shells can live to be over 100 years old. This little guy right here is only about 5 or 6 years old right now. Still pretty big for his size, but he has a lot of growing to do. The full-grown males of alligator snapping turtles can get over 200 pounds. That is massive. This little guy right here is probably only less than 5 pounds right now. He's still probably got pretty good weight on him for such a little guy. And if you get him to open up that mouth right there, if you can take a look, see that wiggling appendage right there in his mouth? They take that, they'll sit on the bottom of the river that they're in, and they will keep that mouth open just like that and wiggle that little appendage, a little worm-like appendage in the mouth till something swims along, and once it's inside of his mouth, it clamps that jaw down and gobbles up its prey. These guys are native to the southeastern United States. They live in mostly rivers and streams. Like I said, they'll sit on the bottom with that shell that they have like that. They have all those ridges on that shell. It's very dark. So when they're sitting on the bottom, they usually be covered in like a leaflet or two, and that shell blends in really good so that no animals can see it from the top down. It just looks like a bunch of pile of leaves. As you can see, he or she is trying to scare me with that big jaw of his. This guy, when it's full grown, that head is gonna be bigger than my fist. My fist could fit inside of its mouth when he's full grown. And unlike the common snapping turtle, which lives up here in upstate New York, these guys do not have nearly as long of a neck as the common snapping turtle. Because if this was a common snapping turtle, I would not be able to touch the top of his head, and I would not have my hand so close to his mouth down there. These guys cannot reach very far out, but they do get much larger than the common snapping turtles. So these guys, although they are bigger, heavier, and have that huge mouth and that little lure, these guys are actually easier to handle if you have to move them. They're easier to handle without getting bit than the common snapping turtle. They are much harder to move when they're older, just because of their sheer size. They get probably about 4 to 5 times the size of common snapping turtle. A large common snapping turtle might get 40 to 50 pounds. Like I said, these guys, full growns, can exceed 200 pounds and even up to 250 pounds when these guys are full grown. In the wild, their main diet is going to be fish. They'll eat crayfish and even small rodents. You can actually see, if you can see right there, he's wiggling around that little red thing right in the bottom of his mouth right there, trying to get me to put my finger in there so he can clamp down on it. But like I said, these guys, they'll also eat small rodents. I mean, right now he does enjoy a mouse occasionally. He doesn't get it very often, but they will eat small rodents in the wild as well. In captivity, he gets fed a main diet of turtle food. Like I have this stuff right here, large jumbo Reptimin jumbo floating food sticks. He gets several pellets of those every day. I also have frozen shrimp that I'll feed him. A bunch of stuff, different stuff I keep in the freezer. Shrimp. I order crayfish and bullfrog tadpoles, which he devours. He loves them. In captivity, they are going to require a ginormous cage. Like, cause I said before, they're going to reach over 200 pounds. They take a long time to get there. This guy probably won't reach that weight for at least another 30 to 40 years. These guys do grow really, really slow. So the good thing is you have plenty of time if you get it as a baby. I mean, they start out, you can buy them as babies the size of a $50, about 2 inches in diameter. When they're babies, you can get these guys for relatively cheap for under $100, $150. And you can keep them in a small enclosure for many years because this guy is only about 5 or 6 years old and he is only the size of my hand. So he's maybe 7 or 8 inches from one end of a shell to the other. Right now, he is living in a 40-gallon breeder, which is enough room for him right now. They're snapping turtles. They don't move around a whole lot. So this guy will be all right in a tank indoors, a commercially available tank for probably the next 10 to 15 years. Once he starts outgrowing that, he's going to require a pond, a large body of water to live in, a small pond that most people can't house in their personal homes. He will require a several 100-gallon pond when he gets to be full grown. But for starters, as babies, you can keep them in a 10 or 20-gallon tank for the first probably 1 to 2 years. After that, I would jump up to a 40-gallon tank, and he'll probably be able to live in that 40-gallon tank for several years, for at least probably 5 to 6 years. He'll be able to live in that 40-gallon tank, and then you want to bump up to a 75-gallon or 125-gallon. And after that, really you should just invest in a large pond for them, a large indoor custom-built pond, because that's what they're going to need. UVA and UVB lighting, heat sources that you get for turtles. They're not baskers, so you don't have to have a heat lamp in there with them. They do like they don't like super cold water. So if you do put if you can heat the water without putting a heater in the water, that's the best. Turtles, especially snapping turtles like this, can break those heaters. Most of those heaters are glass. This guy goes over and gets too excited and clamps on that glass. He will not only break the glass and shatter it, but he will probably hurt himself and cut himself, and possibly even worse. And we don't want that to happen to these awesome prehistoric looking creatures. So what do you think? Do you have what it takes to take care of one of these guys? Would you be willing to devote the rest of your life, because that's what that's how long you're gonna take them? Would you be willing to devote the rest of your life to caring for one of these awesome creatures? Probably one of the coolest turtles out there, and definitely one of the largest turtles that you can actually keep in captivity. Comment down below what your favorite aspect of alligator snapping turtles is, and don't forget to check back tomorrow, because every day this week we'll be uploading a video at 9 a.m. Comment down below with what you want to see from us next. What kind of animals you want to see. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.